we are going to have a heck of a matchup on our hands.
Absolutely. It's almost the two Gexes. I think a lot of people recognize me in the region and we look so similar. But you are your own personality and a very strong one at that. I've been enjoying listening to you so far, but it is good to finally be on this side of things together. Now, looking at a very exciting series as well as Disconnected actually pushing forward first for the aggression here.
They're actually possibly going to get a shot on target. They're going to have the first goal of the series. Disconnected, not even 30 seconds into this one, and already they found themselves a goal.
Look, I like to be hyped up at the end of a series, but you can't start like that and not get me hyped up. That's an incredible first goal out of Disconnected. Coming out of the whole team working together so well. These guys know each other so well, and it really is amazing, a testament to that they can come out, put on the aggression early, and it's not even a kickoff goal. This is well earned. And maybe another one. Ooh, Kaizen firing again.
Blue's gonna keep with this one as well. Disconnected, I don't even think we've seen an offense out of Pulse so far. A minute into this one and immediately Disconnected have recognized that they need to go this whole time. We said if they wanted a shot against Pulse, they had to be firing from all cylinders literally the minute they hit the pitch, and apparently they were listening to us, Gex. They're doing exactly that.
Yeah, they need this speed. This is what answers that quick mechanical playstyle of Pulse. When you take that away from them, then they have to sink back. Then they take you seriously. They switch to defense, and they can be very strong there. I'm waiting to see that switch. And you know what? We actually saw a fair bit of it really early in this series, and I think that's incredible that Disconnected can, in a minute of gameplay, push Pulse to the point that we see them really trying.
They're really struggling to break out of their half and find a solid offense. And Kaizen, though, is going to show them how to do so. Gets a great shot on that. Will actually lead to a goal. All three players getting involved, but Disconnected 2-0 within 2 minutes.
Records? No records. It's Blue taking it away from you, Pulse. You'd have to step up, 2 goals down. It's the first game, 3 minutes left, plenty of time for Pulse to come back into this, but Disconnected keeps getting these 50s. They've got so much control, and they look like they're having fun with this. Oh my God! Blue again! That's his hat trick!
What is happening right now? Maxiu actually looked uncomfortable in the corner due to a challenge from Abs Crazy. You don't expect that, Pulse Clan. We've been talking about how good their mechanics are, how their individual prowess can match up against pretty much anyone in the region. But Maxiu gets a 1v1 and all of a sudden he's scared of Abs Crazy? What is happening right now? Disconnected in the face of Pulse Clan, really giving them a run for their money. Now all of a sudden it's up to Pulse Clan to have the comeback happen. I mean, 3 minutes remain here in this game. A 3-0 deficit is not a death sentence at this point, but oh my, Pulse Clan, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board now.
Oh my. It's very exciting stuff out of game 1. Don't get me wrong. I think Pulse Clan has an answer for this, but right now, I'm seeing what I've heard out of some of the players, that this could be a team to actually take Pulse down. 3-0 up, and look at that, mistakes coming out of Pulse Clan. They're under the gun. They are making errors, and it's being forced out of them.
This is how you set the tone in the series. Give yourselves a great start, not even just a good start, an unreal start at this point, and just run with that momentum. That is what Disconnected are doing right now, and they're even going to get another offenser. Oh, I might have spoke too soon. LCT up for this one. Shot on target, and that will hit the back of the net. Pulse Clan finally find their first goal, and it's with 2 minutes remaining.
Look how early LCT went upfield. He may not have been in the air until almost when the pass was hit, but he was ready for that. And Pulse Clan, when they're playing for fun and playing that mechanical style where they just try to get the prettiest shots possible, those are the setups. That's LCT upfield. We saw it yesterday when they went up against We Own All, and they had so much fun with that series. It was always LCT pre-jumping passes. Right now it's him passing in though. Maxi will send it up. Ball Races got the chance. Ooh, they're not going to be able to bring this back to only that 1-goal lead just yet, but they do have the pressure on.
Do have a lot of good pressure here, but the unfortunate thing for Pulse Clan is that they're not finding as much possibly want here. Usually, Pulse are at their best when they're able to control this aerial prowess, when they're just kind of operating on their own free will in airspace, and they're just not getting that right now. Disconnected are in their face, making them uncomfortable. Demos like that sort of just go to show it. And speaking of which, Ab's crazy. Before Maxu can even get the ball an inch away from him, he's already on top of him. Disconnected have come to this game with a game plan, and they are executing upon that perfectly so far.
That's crazy. Every time Disconnected has been streamed, has been named to talk about. LCT can't take a direct shot, but setting it up so well, the pinch away. Defensive pinch goes out of goal, and Disconnected remain with a 2-goal lead, maybe forming something else here. A good attack starting. Maxi beaten out in the dunk. It's right in front of goal, but nobody available for Disconnected.
This is by far the most vulnerable I've ever seen Pulse Clan play. This is absurd right now. I'm just surprised. I've got nothing else to say, but my oh my, props to Disconnected here. They're about 20 seconds away from taking the first win in this series and setting themselves in the best position possible to take down Pulse Clan. But see if they can find one more goal for the road. They've got something building here. Ab's crazy. Pops us into the backboard, or attempts to. Maxi will send this one up to the ceiling, and now it's looking like maybe Pulse will get one for the road instead. Off the backboard, and ooh, this one pinched all the way across. I did not hit the ceiling. There's a chance it would have drifted on in, but the result will stay the same nonetheless. Disconnected with the first win here in the grand finals.
And it probably has happened, but I don't remember anybody but 1NE even looking like they could take a 2-goal lead in a game with Pulse. It's always close. Disconnected out of the gate looked, frankly, better than Pulse. They covered everything on field so well. They are really playing well to Pulse Clan's play style, and the gameplay is all theirs right now. They are playing their own game and really making it hard.
They look fantastic right now. This is insane how well Disconnected are performing here, and it sort of goes to show you how incredibly dominant of a performance this first game was. We were talking about this before. Tokyo Verde is the team that Pulse Clan are looking at right now. They're expecting that they're going to match up against them in that wild card and that they're going to have to face them. But the thing is that Tokyo Verde, last time they played Pulse Clan, almost every game they had was a 1-goal game where they took the lead. That goes to show you, Disconnected did better than Tokyo Verde, the team that Pulse are looking at right now in this first game. A 3-1 lead and win is beyond, I don't think we can further emphasize how insane of a turnaround this is. Pulse has been shown they have vulnerability now. The question is can Disconnected take advantage of that again? One game is good, but now you need to win the series and get yourselves in the best position possible to upset here in the grand finals.
11 goals to to Disconnected, 6 to Pulse Clan. They almost double their shot count because of the amount of aggression they were able to put on, but they also proved themselves in defense. They need to do it again though, and they haven't out of the gates got the aggression. Now they're starting to form it almost immediately. First 30 seconds come down, and already Pulse Clan have had that change sides a couple of times. Blue doing it again, looking for the preset and actually faked it out, looked for the pass instead. They're doing so well to pull people out of goal. If you shoot directly on Pulse Clan's net, they will save it 99% of the time.
Doing a really good job so far here of responding after having a game one, which we would say is rather lackluster. It wasn't a bad loss by any stretch of the imagination, but again, for Pulse playing a team that usually doesn't show any vulnerability, any loss is a big loss. So let's see, can they recover here in game two? So far, they've had a lot more offensive pressure than I would say pretty much the entire first game. They don't have a goal to show for it, and they might hear LCT, though, denied by the defense, and Disconnected should be able to clear this out of their half. Such luck, though. Kaizen not able to make a touch here in the corner, so it's up to Blue instead, who, is going to get this one around Balleries. I thought they might be cut off, but instead it's going to be out at midfield, and LCT instead will cut it off. Disconnected, not getting as easy a transition into offense this time, Gex. They are very much struggling to find as many shots as they did in the first game.
You know what does help Disconnected here? They have faced Pulse Clan in every quarterfinal so far. They have seen them multiple times. They've got the practice against Pulse Clan. So, it goes to show that practice that they must be putting in specifically against this team. They know what they have to do to beat these guys. It's just been a matter of finding the right stage on stream to do it, apparently.
Now, the big thing is that they need to show up when it matters, and that's the thing. They've actually shown up and played against Pulse-Clan before and have beaten them. Like we said, they took a win in Swiss stages. When it comes to these best of sevens, that has been their kryptonite. These longer series, or will Pulse-Clan are able to find that turnaround, find that momentum, and run away with the games. Well, they're going to punish on the one little mistake here. This one sent to the ceiling. Before you can blink, Pulse-Clan find their first goal.
A good goal, though. 120 kilometers an hour. It looks slower from that camera angle than you may realize. A very, very quick shot. So they really were concerned about beating out that defense. So Disconnect still making them worry, but Pulse-Clan now is leading. And that's the first time this series, coming into game 2, that they've been able to say that. Now, they have to be able to hold it, and right now, Disconnected still looking fairly good to be able to take this back to at least even. Right now, that pressure on again from Disconnected, but they have to make the right play here. They have to find that pass out. Abs Crazy is going to be a key player here.
They need to also get in the face of Pulse-Clan right now. We're starting to go back to that aerial dominance from Pulse that we were talking about before. When they're able to control this airspace is when they are by far the deadliest. But on the ground, apparently it's all Disconnected. They're trying to slot in some shots out of nowhere there. Look at this, Maxiu, no one can test them there in the corner, so all of a sudden it's an easy transition for Pulse-Clan going the other way. That's why we say that aerial control really needs to be contested on repeat out of Disconnected, because that's what happens when you don't. Shots start to rip a barely off target, but I don't think this one's going to be, so it will be denied instead. But not on the follow-up. LCT puts one on, and I thought the defense was prepared, but just a bit too awkward, and Disconnected can't keep it out.
Yeah, Blue had only just landed facing the wrong direction, couldn't turn towards the ball in time. Surely there's something you have to be able to do in that situation. Blue is a good enough player to just jump and formulate something there. He's fast enough. He's accurate enough. He has the car control. Right now, they're setting up again, though, and they need one back into this.
Kind of feels like Disconnected are starting to feel the pressure here. Game number 1 was kind of hit the ground running and hope that maybe something was going to work out for them. And then when it did, all of a sudden, confidence just kept rising, and they ran with that confidence all the way through that first game. Now, all of a sudden, Pulse-Clan have a quick response. They get a good hook in, and all of a sudden, they don't know what to do. It's that old boxing analogy that I've brought up probably many times here on stream, but everyone's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth. And then all of a sudden, you got to try and figure out what's going on as you're dazed and confused, and that's Disconnected right now. They all of a sudden felt the pressure of Pulse and have no idea how to respond, but they need one. 50 seconds left here in game number 2, and although this is not that bad of a deficit here at 2-0, a goal for the road would be massive for Disconnected just to gain some confidence back.
I thought we would see Maxiu hit a classic play from him. What a save out of Abs Crazy as Baller Reese nearly shows up again. We've been saying his name so much today, and with the attack that Disconnected's had, I have no doubt that we're going to be saying it a lot more this match again as well, because this is going to be down a lot to Pulse's defense. They don't need it right now, though, as Maxiu just hammers one home again.
This kind of feels like we're trading off on this midfield presence here. Disconnected in game 1 had a really good lockdown midfield that just kept the pressure on Pulse-Clan. All of a sudden, game 2, Pulse-Clan find themselves a solid midfield presence, and Disconnected don't know how to respond. So it could be one of these things where we just have a series that kind of goes back and forth, and whoever gets that first goal kind of sets the tone for the 5-minute period. But the thing is that when you have a 3-0 victory like this from Pulse-Clan, it can kind of shake off the nerves of game 1. So there's a chance they could run away with this one after the momentum they gained here in game number 2. I gotta hope not, though. I want to see a good back and forth, and with the way that Disconnected are playing, I really do believe we can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a little bit of physical play coming out in this one from Pulse again, which we didn't see in the first game. I wasn't sure about it the first time I looked at that last goal, but in the replay, I'm pretty sure you can see LCT run off and get a big bump, taking a lot of effect into that last shot from Maxiu. That's what opened up that net. So we're looking at Pulse-Clan adapting, and that's what I've been talking about them for a lot. They are developing the ability to do that. That is not something they've always had. They are a mechanical team. They play fast and hard, and everybody doesn't know what to do when they can't defend that backboard. But no, now they've got more to them. They've got depth.
They've got an incredible lockdown midfield as well. Not sure if you noticed that stat there. 0 shots through 5 minutes of play for Disconnected. That kind of goes to show you that lockdown midfield we were talking about really came into effect in Game 2 here for Pulse Clan. They just never really let Disconnected get a shot at this game, and that's the unfortunate truth, is that Disconnected had a shot in the first one because they came out the gate firing. When they didn't do that here in Game 2 and they let Pulse Clan find that confidence again, all of a sudden Pulse Clan kind of just rode that to victory. So I gotta hope here in Game number 3 that we don't see as much of a one-sided battle here. I think if Disconnected do want to have a good back and forth, they need an early goal.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to really push that from the beginning. We saw that in the first one. Out of the gates, they were so fast. Even this one, in the first 30 seconds, they got back a lot of control, and that was probably the most time they spent really meaningfully in Pulse Clan's half. Now, I actually am looking towards this because there's no way that Disconnected doesn't take another loss somewhere here. It might not be this game, but it will be at some point. Do they take, at that 2-game loss, that technical timeout, and do they come back in as hot as they did the first game in? Because Pulse Clan, I don't know if they can do that as well as Disconnected show they could first game.
We're gonna have to find out, though. Game 3 underway here, and I would agree with you. I think that this third game is going to be rather important, and if Disconnected do lose this one, they might need that timeout in order to just try and realign themselves. We'll find out in the future. For right now, let's try and see if they can battle it out here in the first minute. So far, it's all Pulse Clan with this offensive prowess, but quite able to keep it there and find a goal. Instead, it's actually going the other way. Abs Crazy challenges on the ceiling, and it'll go straight into the Pulse Clan net.
Yeah, Abs Crazy just beating Pulse Clan. That's unbelievable. The confidence to even go up for that against these players, that's great to see. And right away, they have that first goal. This is what you're talking about. And immediately, they're firing on net again. A chance. Blue now with control. Look for the bump even. But no, it's not to be as Maxi takes it away. They won't get the counterattack straight away, though. Oh, but they will eventually.
It's a bit of a harsh one there. Disconnected. I was about to say, I love that they're confident enough now that they're going for some more creative shots on offense, but unfortunately for them, they might need to prioritize their defense a little bit more. That was part of the reason why Disconnected won their first series of the day. We have to give credit to Kaizen for the unreal saves on the line on repeat, basically. I think they need to show that a little bit more. They look kind of awkward on defense here. That's the second time in a row that they've had their final defender the wrong way in net, and it's costed them. And speaking of which, third time's the charm. Kaizen looking at the goal, can't make the save, and it does kind of feel like Disconnected looking way too nervous on defense.
Bolaris also put that threat of the bump as he came through after the pass as well, so nobody felt safe to jump, and that meant that the challenge onto that was just that little bit late. And when you place a ball as perfectly as pretty much any member of Pulse Clan does, you know that that top right corner is going to get hit. A great touch by Kaizen. Will go away to Blue now. Can he get it out into that midfield? A flip under the ball. A bump though. But it's going to have to go back to Abs Crazy. Can he set it up again? It's going to come off the ceiling. An opportunity, but the defensive Pulse Clan holding out for now.
Talking about this earlier, Abs Crazy kind of seems like he's going to be the pop-off player for this matchup right now. If Disconnected want anybody to run this offense, it's most likely going to be Abs Crazy, and I kind of like that a little bit more, having some more defined roles for this team, because it by far seemed like they were the strongest when Kaizen was in charge of their defense, when Abs Crazy was in charge of that offense, and Blue kind of just mixed in between the two of them and controlled that midfield. They need to understand that they have to utilize these rotations. Pulse Clan are way too quick of a team. If you're not able to cover a decent amount of this pitch, they're going to poke and prod until they find those gaps. And when they find those gaps, they're going to start putting shots like this on target, but that one is not. A little bit wide. Pulse Clan looking for their third goal. This is what I mean. They are everywhere all at once.
They really are, and that's been the case in pretty much all of their matches. They are always everywhere. They're just so fast. But it does leave them vulnerable to certain things. I mean, they do have gaps in rotation. It's not something that any team can avoid. And when you rotate that fast, if something hits that gap, it can be very hard to reorganize yourself. And we've already seen that in the ability to form multiple attacks in a row out of disconnected. They take advantage of that when it's given to them. Right now, Abs Crazy trying to fake that with 0 boost. Not able to do so, but still in Pulse Clan's half. A big boom downfield, but Blue is there in time. I think Blue, we're going to see if we get any big solo plays, it's got to be Blue doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a lot of good players on this pitch here, and that's the main thing that we keep trying to highlight is that the solo potential out of pretty much anybody on this pitch is unreal. And here is why Abs Crazy. Nuttiest angle I've seen in quite some time, and it'll tie up the game.
The man of the hour, and if he can push this 2-3 series, might be more than the hour. It's a great way to take this back to an even game, and it's got to give some confidence to Disconnected. Look at that, a 0 boost challenge upfield. Now the opportunity, it's passed in, but Abs Crazy has to be low there. He did have about half a boost meter to work with, but maybe just opting for what he considered the safer route, taking that back to defense.
I can understand why he made the decision he made. It just feels a little bit unfortunate. We were just talking about how you need confidence to beat a team like Pulse Clan, and that's one of those times where I would say, take the risk. It might suck if you guys all of a sudden have a counterattack, but that's why we mentioned those rotations. If you can allow a player to take a risk like that on the final third, and then have someone on the back end like Blue right there who makes the save, it's going to be huge for a team. The ability to rely on one another is absolutely crucial. And Disconnected are starting to do that, but I think the nerves are still a little bit there, but maybe not anymore. Disconnected take the lead with 40 seconds remaining, and now it's time for them to hold on and take the lead in the series.
Did I say it was always perfect placement out of Pulse Clan? I meant Blue. Blue is all over it. Look at that. It could not be any narrower. A pixel to the right, and that would have been post and out, but no. He makes the goal and brings them into the lead now. They might be able to take a second game out of this. It looks like they can. With 30 seconds left, it's going back into Pulse's half. They get a good pass out, but Kaizen, the beat to the backboard. Maxiu sends it back down, and we've got 19 seconds left of gameplay.
This is a tense back and forth so far here. Disconnected do have another offense, and they almost have a goal, but what about the follow-up? Kaizen on target, and Disconnected punch themselves into the series 2-1 in favor.
Absolutely. We were talking about that dazed, confused state that Disconnected seemed to be in for the last one, but what a right hook they've got. Sent it in, and now it's Pulse Clan staggering.
I don't know what to say right now, Dex. This is insanity. Disconnected. We thought that they'd give a good run against Pulse Clan, but the fact of the matter is, they've got the lead in the series right now. 2-1 in favor of Disconnected, and the crazy thing is that this wasn't one of these things where I feel like Pulse is off. Disconnected are just on.
Yeah, absolutely on. I mean, we were looking for opportunities for both of those new teams to the top 4 to show themselves. There is no better way to show yourself than this. Look at Disconnected. Absolutely onto it, but concerns out of Pulse Clan, and there should be. If you're Pulse Clan, you shouldn't be losing out to games here. And as a result, they're taking their time out.
Ooh, early in the series. That's rather interesting here. I can understand why. I have a feeling OSM is going to try and talk to the team and just kind of get them a little bit calmer here, and with good reason. I do think that if they tilt themselves out too early in this one, not only could they lose the series, but they could lose the finals as well. Like we said, it's about hitting the ground running, and if you can set the tone early enough, you can really carry that momentum all the way to a victory, and I think that's what Disconnected did right here. They had such a strong game that Pulse Clan just don't know how to respond. They've been kind of frazzled for 2 games straight, and although they're playing good, they need to play great. This is the grand finals. If you're not on your A game, you're gonna lose.
I love that Disconnected has brought us to this point a variety of different ways. The first game coming in so strong with passing plays, confusing their opponents, and just having that, that super quick play style between each other. That one, it was all individual plays. It was well-challenged moments and well-taken shots.
I'm just impressed. I've got nothing else to say, but I am impressed by the way that Disconnected are playing right now. And that's the thing that we've been looking for here, though, to be fair, is that improvement. Those teams who have been grinding time after time after time again and getting ready for moments like this. And that's the thing. Disconnected look ready. They want this upset. They look like they are prepared for this upset. And while a lot of teams have given a good run against Pulse, they don't ever look like they've got that firepower to take them down. I really do think that Disconnected have got that firepower here. This first series is definitely not what I expected.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, regardless of the result, I actually see this going to Game 7 even. Like, I think that this is going to be close. It's back and forth so far, but it does depend on what changes Pulse Clan have made in this small timeout. We're back in game now. We'll find out quickly.
Let's find out. I'm excited for this one. This is going to be
a big
game for Disconnected. They're already up 1-0. 6 seconds in and already Disconnected strike again.
The fake. Blue, I've talked about how big brain this player is. He is the guy behind this team. He lets the others kind of go up and play their game, but when he gets the chance to solo play, he can fake the best players in the region out of their minds.
I can't keep doing this. I keep being speechless, not knowing what to say, but it's because of Disconnected continually upping the pressure and upping their performances. That player in particular has really come alive. Blue not only having an incredible offensive performance here today, but the saves on the line are unreal as well. Pulse Clan have got to be sweating at this point. This is definitely not what they were expecting. The resistance out of Disconnected here is otherworldly.
It's incredible how good that passover is. I was literally just about to talk about the fact that if they keep playing like this, we're going to be sweating. I am already, like, my wife is somewhere around. I've just handed her a glass. No, I need water. I'm going to sweat out watching this match. This is insane.
Dude, this is what we were hoping for. This is, by the way, everybody, why we've been asking for Psyonix and for RLCS in APAC South. They finally give it to us this season, and it has delivered tenfold. Thank you again to Psyonix for giving us this chance, and thank you to Disconnected for giving us a heck of a final so far. We're only 90 seconds into this one, and Disconnected do have another early lead here in game number 4, but it is not going to be an easy battle. They need to hold on for another 3.5 minutes, and as Pulse Clan are starting to get some offense together, that could be a problem. Great save on the line out of Kaizen, though, will stop the offense for now.
And it's right in front of goal, though, but taken away so quickly. Look at the turnaround.
No.
Look at the goal. No, it's not in. Taken away. Abs crazy with no boost. Can't get the angle that he needed. And Blue coming down from the ceiling, a bit of a whiff there, but control, an opportunity again. Do they get the bump? Abs crazy, a big heads-up play, but doesn't reach Maxiu in time.
I can't believe this right now. Pulse Clan, look how light the touches they are having on their back end here. It really does feel like they're not sure how to break out of this pressure that Disconnected have started here. And this is what we were seeing out of Pulse Clan in the second game of the series where they won. All of a sudden, Disconnected recognized that they're going for that playstyle and they're just going to counter it. Matter of fact, they're going to put shots on target that don't find the back of the net. LCT, a beautiful save, but it's not going to end the offense altogether, although that might. Abs Crazy and Kaizen not quite connecting how they would have liked, so now a chance to go the other way. Save from Kaizen will keep it out for now, and I hope we switch back to the player. I have got to know how many saves he has this game.
And what a save it was. Another shot racking up Abs Crazy, and one there as well for his teammate, but nothing going in. Pulse Clan are holding strong right now, but you can see them scrambling to form an offense. They have defense, we know that. But right now, they are being held on a midline that I didn't think I would ever see. Definitely not in the first split of RLCS here. Disconnected, showing up and holding them in their own half incredibly well after they've just taken the timeout, after they've got their head back, or at least we thought they did. They are being... This is dominant. No, it's not anymore. Why? Caster strikes again as Maxiu sends one home and evens it up.
It's only proper. We said 90 seconds into this one, Disconnect to get the lead. Well, 90 seconds remaining. Pulse Clan will tie it up. All of a sudden, we're at a 1-1 ball game here. And I'm going to be honest, if we walked away from this first series without a single overtime, I would have been pretty mad. I don't think it's going to happen. We've got about 86 seconds left here. Let's see, can Disconnected or Pulse Clan find the dagger before the end of regulation? Or do we have that golden goal scenario on our hands? We might already have the golden goal scenario on our hands. The next team to score could be the last goal we see of this game.
No, it's not a high-scoring game, so absolutely, it seems almost likely at this point, at this rate. But right now, it's not Disconnected on the attack. They've been pushed out. And finally, Pulse Clan have the attack. They have the possession, and they have the field domination, which is not something we've been able to say about them at all this game. It took one goal. They've got the confidence back. Can they do something with it?
Can they find themselves some sort of just dagger here to end this game? You can find a little bit of awkward positioning here. Pulse Clan do get a shot on target, but it's definitely one that I would say Disconnected were prepared for. Now, as a result, Disconnected a chance to go the other way. Beautiful passing plays all around. Kaizen tried to reconnect with Abs Crazy there, but maybe instead it'll be Blue to get the dagger off the backboard. Can there be a shot? No. Abs Crazy denied by the defense, but Pulse Clan looking like they're going to get one last opportunity. LCT up for this one. Denied by the defense, but the shot is still around. Can we see a shot from Pulse? It will be denied. Blue with a save on the line, and actually will launch one the other way. Abs Crazy can't get a touch, but maybe instead Kaizen can. This one drops down, and we indeed go to overtime here in game number. Like we said, Gex, this was inevitable.
Bass, they just wanted to make your dreams come true, man. Nobody wanted to disappoint you. There's nothing in the slightest disappointing about this series. Pulse Clan are playing fine. Like, maybe not exceptional for themselves, but definitely not badly enough that I thought we would see what we're seeing right now. Disconnected are the ones stepping up. I absolutely agree with your sentiment earlier. Right now, they've got to do it in overtime, which is even more stressful, though. And so far, Pulse Clan have been the ones stepping up to stress very, very well. Right now, though, Disconnected getting these passing plays off. An opportunity, but it's not top left enough. In fact, maybe even too much, as Abs Crazy holds that defensive line in midfield.
See, though, can Disconnected get another lockdown midfield? This is by far when they look the best. When Pulse Clan were starting to get nervous on defense and they saw those little gaps and exploited them. Maybe they see a gap here. Kaizen tries to rip a shot on target, but it's not enough power. They're not going to allow Pulse out of their own half, though, and look at that. Double commitment in the corner leaves them vulnerable, but a save will be made. Balleries out of nowhere will save that one and keep the dream alive for now, and so will that on the follow-up. Disconnected do have this lockdown midfield, but they cannot find the back of the net.
That save wasn't out of nowhere. It was off of the bumper of one of the attackers. They were looking to take out that fast defender. They're doing what I said. Balleries is that glue. He's holding them together right now. If they can remove him, they would have scored there. Maybe they can do it again. Maxiu now. The 50 goes really well for Disconnected, though, as it does head across field again. Now opportunities for Pulse Clan on the other side, but they have to be able to hold that midfield line. Now trying to form that. Not a great touch out. LCT should be a free clear out, but the 50 from Balleries slowing things down and making it difficult for Disconnected to form another attack.
They're forced into their own half. Kaizen has to make a save on the line, which he does so with some confidence. But now Pulse Clan going to start to starve that boost, going to start to press. Disconnected into their half and slowly whittle away at that confidence. They can find a mistake here. It could be the end of the game, and that could be the one there. Abs Crazy not quite touching that one how they expected. So now with zero boost in the tank, Disconnected are scrambling to try and find a solid defense, and instead we'll find shots on target. Abs Crazy gets the first save, but cannot make the follow-up. Maxiu puts it into the back of the net, and we are all tied up here in this series.
A fantastic shot because of the positioning of Maxiu there. They needed that. They knew how much they needed it, but it took them half a game length again to be able to get that extra goal over Disconnected. I was totally in the Disconnected boat there, though. It was looking every time they moved upfield like they were going to find that passing play, like they were going to pull that man out of net and make the opportunity count. But in the end, Pulse Clan, they just held out. They were so steadfast.
that's the issue. That's what we keep talking about with Pulse Clan here, is that at their highest of highs, they can beat a lot of teams. At their lowest of lows, they can beat an occasional team. But that middle ground is still so threatening that it can take down a number of different teams in this region depending on the day. And that's what separates Pulse here at this point, is the fact that they are so consistent even at that middle ground. They look like they understand that now too. They're not going for as many risky plays. They are not going for as many challenges that would probably leave them in bad positions. They are waiting, slow burning until they find goals. And even if it does take them 3.5 minutes to find the first one, it's enough that it gains them some momentum and they can run away with victories. Gex, this is an important game for Disconnect. If they lose this 5th one, the series is going to be over.
This is the linchpin in the series right now. We're at the turning point, and there's been one timeout used, actually, already from the side of Pulse. They do have the option to use that. I haven't heard that they have yet, but, you know, if this is that turning point, if Pulse were able to go away and come back and go, you know what, let's play a more defensive game, it paid off for them, only barely. I don't even know that I would call Pulse the better team there. It was really a matter of margins that won that for them, and right now, Disconnected, if they lose this one, they are going to have to take a step back and look at that as well, right?
Yeah, I have to imagine so here. It's one of these things where you do have to kind of think of the mental game here. Rocket League is a game that runs a lot with momentum, and if you let the momentum get too far away from you, not only does it make it difficult to come back into a game, but it can also wear on your mental state there. Your ability to stay in this one, because mental tenacity is something that we haven't spoken a lot about today, but the reality is both of these teams have already played a full best of 7. These teams are going to have to play another one on top of this one. So the fact is, you need to try and get all your energy out while you have it. And Pulse Clan are doing exactly that. While they've still got a pretty solid confidence, they find their first goal.
An incredible first goal it is as well, just to be dominant, just to show the Pulse Clan are still on that aggressive front. They're not going to sit in defense unless Disconnected force them to. So, what do? You force them to. You have to. They benefited from that so greatly last match, Disconnected, but Pulse Clan won it with one shot in a very long overtime. You cannot let that hit you too hard in your confidence, because there was almost equal chances there that Disconnected could take it, but Blue, an incredible upfield play, but that's too high, that's crazy. One last chance on that attack attempt, and it gets away from him. Maxiu might even have the... Oh, yep, there it is. The response goal comes back to the other side and hammers it home.
Yeah, that's about Pulse Clan. That's more what we're expecting out of this team. The quick shots, the quick transitions, and the boomers on target. Pulse Clan find themselves with a 2-0 lead here with just about 4 minutes remaining. And unfortunately for Disconnected, it's starting to look like Pulse Clan are returning to form. And it's not that they were necessarily playing bad before, but they're starting to show the weaknesses in this Disconnected defense here. Like we said, their last series, a lot of the reason they won it is because of the fact that they had such good on-the-line defense. Now that we're not even seeing players on the line, we're seeing these gaps in the back end, I can guarantee you one thing. If we're seeing it from a third-eye view here, Pulse Clan are absolutely seeing it on the pitch.
What's interesting there, though, is that the goal that came there as that response, it came off a mistake. Abs Crazy went up while two players were committed far too far upfield, not enough boost to really get back into defense or stop that quick counterattack. Pulse Clan needed that, though. They are not scoring without mistakes, and the mistakes they're scoring off of are very small, realistically. Any other touch, had that been any slower, Disconnected would have corrected it.
The unfortunate truth, though, that's what separates teams here, is those little mistakes and the capitalizations made upon them. So let's see, can Disconnected find a little bit of weakness in this Pulse Clan side? We've got about half the game remaining. There's plenty of time for a comeback, but like we've seen before, when you can get the momentum in your favor, teams tend to run with it. Both of these teams in particular really do, and Pulse Clan running with a momentum right now, trying to rip off another shot as Maxiu, but will be denied. What about on the follow-up? Ballery sends this one into the waterfall. Will drop down. LCT keeps this on the half, and Disconnected scrambling for saves and scrambling for a clear. And here's the issue. You scramble for too long, all of a sudden it's gonna crack, and Disconnected unfortunately gets scored on for the 3rd time here in this game.
Max, you decided they'd passed it around in front of that net for long enough, wasted enough of the game time to have secured that 2-goal lead already. Let's push it to 3, takes the shot and brings it home. They are passing really well right now, Pulse Clan, and they've just got more energy. They're back into this in a mental way, and Disconnected might be feeling a little bit more out of it. This is where I expect... Oh, Kaizen! I didn't think this was not going to be taken away. Where's the backboard defense from Pulse Clan? A brilliant shot.
I think they were scrambling back there. Unfortunately for Pulse, they had thrown so much at that offense and at that midfield there that they just weren't prepared when Disconnected had a quick counterattack. So, Disconnected, you've seen the gaps. Like we said, you need to look for the little... I think that's what Disconnected are starting to recognize here, that if Pulse want to be this much in their face, want to be this aggressive, they're going to need to look for counterattacks and ways to punish. Right now, though, they only have that one punishment in this game. 100 seconds left. They are down by 2. You have an offense brewing here. LCT just has to try and clear this one out and buy some time. And, uh-oh, that's something else we had talked about before. Aerial control there. Pulse Clan, no one contesting them in the air. Disconnected, looking a little bit trigger shy when it comes to those battles up top.
I had to have a laugh just a second ago because I realized that I said, where is the backboard defense against Disconnected? How many times have I made that same statement about the defense against Pulse Clan? That's where they flourish. How is Disconnected the one I'm worried about when it comes to scoring goals off the backboard? Pulse Clan should have it covered. But here we are, Disconnected threatening down, making threatening plays.
Oh.
Max, you what control? He doesn't need the backboard, not when he has touches like this.
No, that's just not allowed. That's just filth. Oh my word. Max you into the back of the net and possibly putting the nail into the coffin as well here. 50 seconds left, and it's possible for Disconnected to make a comeback happen. It's rather unlikely, though. Unfortunately for Disconnected here, it's the same thing we saw before. The momentum gets too far away from them, and they scramble to recover and try and get a little bit of it back, but they just cannot. So this is why I think those first couple games that we saw were so important for Disconnected. They needed to have early starts that could carry them to victories, and it kind of goes to show you, when in that last game they do get an early goal, but Pulse Clan have a response, the series is different now. It's no longer like it was in the first half. Pulse Clan are here, and they're ready to end this one out.
Yeah, and looking at that mental state again from Disconnected, they don't seem as in this now. They're not playing as much for fun, which is what we were seeing when they were winning. Like, a lot of good connecting stuff, great plays. This one is shut out by Pulse Clan, and you can see it affecting them. That changes my decision dramatically on whether they should take that timeout. You have to run with whatever kind of momentum you've got when you've got it. Right now, I think they've run out. They need to take that time.
Yeah, they really do. They need to take a timeout here, try and collect themselves and get ready for this next game, because the reality is that Pulse Clan now all of a sudden find themselves on series point. And I gotta say, this was by far the best chance I think Disconnected were going to have if they were going to take a series off of Pulse Clan. Could they do it in the second one? Yeah, I'd imagine so as well. But you don't always get a start like you did in this series. Disconnected came out the gates swinging. It gave them a couple of games in their favor and led to this 2-2 series. But now Pulse Clan are starting to find the rhythm here. They're starting to get that offense together. Their defense looking a lot stronger. Disconnected can't allow them to keep this momentum in their favor. If they want to try and win this, they need to make Pulse Clan look uncomfortable again.
Yeah, I mean, 9 shots out of Pulse Clan's a big difference out of what we were seeing on those losing matches from them as well. So they've clearly fixed that midfield issue. They've broken past that disconnected midfield defense, which is a fantastic feature to have as a team, but you have to be able to do it consistently and against teams like Pulse Clan if you want to prove yourself as, you know, one of these top 3 teams in the region. Already, I would say that they've proven themselves so much. I would chuck them up there as maybe even that 3rd seed. For me, they are contesting that as your title for me.
I would agree with you on that one, and I think that kind of goes to show that the not the rumors, the sort of opinions that have been going around the professional scene here are a bit different than some of the analysts here and some of the guys at home. We've all been talking about how Azure could be that number 2 because of the fact that they have made the number 2 spot so many times, but amongst the pro scene, Disconnected are the guys that people have been talking about a lot more, and that's the reason why I think Disconnected are smart to take this time out right now. They need to gain that confidence back. They need to believe that they can beat a team like Pulse Clan here, because they can. That's the reality of it, is that if they play at their best, they have proven they can not only take games off of them, but they can actually really make Pulse Clan uncomfortable. So this is what we need to see out of Disconnected right now. A change of their mental state. Get back into this one, find some confidence, and really run with that confidence all throughout a 5-minute period.
Yeah, it's a smart move. And I talked about this earlier, but with how they came in so strong in that first game, like the opening moments, they were all over the ball and all over the field. If Disconnected can take this tactical timeout, if it maybe even makes a bit of a break on Pulse's mental state and their current ball rolling motion that they have right now, Disconnected could come into this very strong, but in the opening 10 seconds, it looks like Pulse Clan have the control. A good touch from Abs Crazy and an unexpected one from Maxu, and that's what I want to see.
Oh, this is not that good for Disconnected here. If they get locked into their half yet again, it's just going to be a slow burn until eventually Pulse find a goal. I don't know if we've seen a single one of these lockdown midfields where Pulse have not come away with a goal. They're not going to come away with an offense here. All of a sudden, a miss on the back end, and Disconnected get themselves a chance here. Gex, this is surprising. Pulse started off with a decent amount of offense, but all of a sudden they look awkward. Never mind. All right, I take it back. Yeah, Pulse. Dude, what? What? That's crazy. Out of nowhere makes the save, but cannot make the follow-up. Ballaries will put it in. The range of emotions I just went through there, I'm terrified if I ever have to do that again.
Yeah, it's all right. We just heard the palpitations your heart just went
Yeah,
through.
seriously.
But I love any moment that's going to make you scream like that, Bass. I heard a few of them yesterday on OCE, but it's so good to see that APAC has these moments, you know? Like, yeah, that moment was off of a mistake, but it's because they're so good. They can take shots like this that you don't expect mistakes.
I gotta give credit here. Ballaries could have slammed that one on target, recognized that Kaizen was up for it though, and just takes a second in air, drops it low and in. Pulse Clan have found their confidence back, X. At this point, they really do look like it here. They are controlling the pace of play. They are shooting shots that they want to shoot, not just the ones they can find. And that's a big difference. Before this Disconnected, we're only really giving them the options of a couple of different lanes. Now, all of a sudden, Pulse Clan are kind of utilizing every lane they want, and they very much look in control of this game now.
Abs Crazy, though, making a couple of good little plays there. Second attempt at a fake in a row did not work. Kind of unsurprisingly. There, that's you. Where did you come from?
The airspace, basically, at this point. The dude is a rocket through the air. NASA might want to hire this man, because 3-0 here, all of a sudden, Pulse Clan find themselves with an absolute dominating lead here to start this game. And like we said, Disconnected, the issue was that the momentum had gotten away from them and the confidence dwindled. And now all of a sudden we're here in Game 6 and it still seems like that is a bit of a problem. We're seeing some odd misses on the back end. We're seeing a lot of double commits and we're gonna see a goal as well. Cross court. Pulse Clan not expecting the boomer, and Disconnected all of a sudden are right back into this game.
I love it. Abs Crazy was up. He knew his teammate was there. It looks like maybe even he called him out of the defense because he identified it. Sent it upfield as hard as he could, and it was just enough speed. Disconnected, that's a smart choice. I mean, it might look like an easy goal to make, but it's not an easy decision to make. You've got a defender right in front of the ball. You know that Pulse Clan is right on his tail. Leave the ball. I've got a shot.
I still keep trying to feel like, you know, okay, well, now's where we call it for Disconnected. Oh, no, now is where we call it for We just can't count this team out. This never say die attitude is incredible from them. The resilience they have shown to continue fighting against a team as strong as Pulse Clan. Hats off to you, Disconnected. Even if you don't walk away with a win here in this first series, you guys gave a heck of an effort which a lot of other teams have not been able to show. Again, Pulse Clan have taken, I think it's like, what, 1 or 2 series losses this entire split, and one of them is against the team they are playing. So again, we probably should have expected this at least a little bit, and well, we did. The thing we didn't expect, though, was this kind of crumbling during the back end. Disconnected no longer seem to have the same sort of firepower and offense. If you notice, Gex, the last 2 goals they find, both cross-court counters. Aside from those counterattacks, they have success.
It's interesting that you talk about that never say die attitude, because that's exactly what we were talking with Pulse OSM about in his interview, with Pulse being able to have. And I think the best teams always have that. Right now, though, I'm looking at the coach for Disconnected Esports, because they've got NCJ. I believe, from what I've heard, he's a real-life sports coach, so that mental side of things might be brilliant, but Baller Reese can slip in stuff like this, and Disconnected need to keep their heads high.
Unfortunately, as high as they can keep their heads at this point, they might have to try and redo it in the next series here with only about 110 seconds left, underneath 2 minutes to play. Both Clan are looking like they're going to take this first series, and I will say this much, it's not necessarily an unexpected result. The part that's unexpected here is the fact that Disconnected really do look like they could actually walk away with a series here. I said it on the desk just because I, wanted to hype up this game and hype up the fact that Disconnected are such a strong squad. But now we get in here and it's not just a possibility, it's looking like it's kind of likely here. Disconnected do not look like they're going to back down by any stretch of the imagination, and they're not going to back down in this game either. With about 90 seconds left, there is still a technical possibility of a comeback. As unlikely as it is, Gex, we're going to have to keep the hopes high, because Disconnected, they need it right now. They need this win to force a Game 7.
They really do, but I mean, I would struggle to imagine a goal a minute right now against Pulse Clan, and they've got to make 3 in 1. This is every second it ticks down becomes less and less likely, especially while it's in Pulse Clan's hands. Pulse Clan's attack, but does get taken away well by Abs Crazy. The defense of Disconnected, even when they're taking shots and goals against them, is always impressive to me, actually.
This is just an impressive series all around. I gotta say that, sometimes you get to these grand finals and teams are a little bit fatigued, like we had talked about before. They're not quite ready to continue playing and throwing everything they've got. Neither team has pulled a single punch so far here. This really does look like peak performance out of both sides, and that's what makes this all the more impressive, is that Disconnected are not only playing at their peak, but Pulse Clan are as well, and they're being able to handle Disconnected at their peak. Pulse Clan, as we have mentioned many times today, it's when they're at that middle ground that really usually finds them success. They're not at that middle ground right now. They really do look like they're playing in an incredibly impressive performance. And as a result, they're going to take the first series. Just underneath 10 seconds left, and at this point, it's in denying the inevitable here. Disconnected are just trying to find a goal for the road to give them some confidence, but they're going to really need that confidence in series number 2. Pulse Clan take the first one and do so in comeback fashion. Again, Disconnected, they had a 2-1 lead in this series as